Hola.
Ali, Ali. Ay.
Uy,
Uy,
qué bajito se escucha respecto a mí.
Polín. Tampoco el...
Acércate más al micrófono.
Me acerco. No tengo ni idea de dónde está el micrófono realmente, porque creo que sale del ordenador.
¿Es el del ordenador? ¿No tienes puesto los cascos?
Tengo los cascos, pero no están cargados, entonces los tengo con cable. Y aparte, cuando juego cosas así, menos cuando voy a hacer la partida de rol, que sí que los cargo y tengo batería principalmente para poder ponerlo en directo. Pero si no,
Bueno,
que me
vale,
lo
pues
como,
bien.
¿vale? Y me
Ñau,
dices, no
ñau, ñau, ñau.
respires. Y yo como, ah.
Ñau, ñau, ñau. Es que claro, no quiero que me respires en plan de...
Ya, es que es lo que me pasa, el micro se me mete en la boca, ¿vale?
Ay, que le dio el micrófono sin querer. Pues nada, ¿qué te parece si continuamos con esto? La verdad es que ni me he movido del sitio. O sea,
Yo
sigo
tampoco, si no
tal
había
que
abierto el
ayer.
juego.
Tal que ayer.
No había abierto el juego, la verdad.
Yo sí, pero como
Pero
no
no
tengo
sé.
ningún sitio que moverme, pues he hecho lo... Porque ya no te teletransporta cuando vas a farmear.
Ah,
Entonces
no,
ya no me
espérate,
muevo.
sí, sí estoy en una zona diferente. Vale, se ha metido mi novio. Espérate.
Maldito seas, Perry el ornitorrinco.
O sea, si yo de repente estoy delante de alguna jaula de cosas de hacer, de conseguir gemas, eso es mi novio que se ha metido. O
No
sea,
lo
en
haces por
plan,
ti misma. Qué feo me parece por tu parte.
el de los pajaritos de papel no puedo con él, lo siento muchísimo. El pura ficción, no puedo con él, es que no paso del nivel uno. Es que tiene un modo de juego distinto que es que no lo controlo para nada. Y es lo único que no hago. Y después, si estoy delante del pura ficción, entonces sé que mi novio entra en la cuenta. Detalles.
Yo llego hasta el tercero, el cuarto nunca me lo hago. Es que ni lo intento, digo, suficiente.
No, es que es complicado, ¿eh?
Es que los niveles más altos son súper complicados y estoy intentando pasármelo del universo en universo diferenciado, que es que el nivel 6-7 es, es imposible
Mm,
pasártelo y para tener todas las misiones hechas necesitas subir ese nivel.
mm,
Y es absurdo porque es que además consigues una de pura chiviripa y en la siguiente como pierdes te quitas a una que has conseguido.
mm. Sí,
Entonces es
sí, que no,
horrible.
que no. Que es horrible.
Bueno, ¿qué tal
Nivel.
si hablamos con Castorice? La
Vale,
traidora.
estaba Juli, por Dios.
La
Vale,
traidora.
ok. Pues vamos allá a hablar con
Well,
ellos.
it seems that when I
Hola,
sent you
Julio.
to look for Anaxa,
Oh, Perry el
Oli.
ornitorrinco.
I unintentionally facilitated your partnership with him
Se aburre
instead.
mucho, yo creo.
Uf, qué rabia.
My apologies, everyone. I know that you have many questions to ask me. I will answer them to the best of my knowledge.
A ver,
Aquí.
In that case,
espérate.
please tell us as much as you can.
Vamos a ver. ¿Qué nos cuenta Castorice? ¿Qué pasó cuando fuiste a buscar a Naxa?
In actuality, he showed me a past that was both long and heavy.
The reason I say this is as I've mentioned earlier. The answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Anaxa, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now. But that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes.
Have you heard of this tale before?
Ay, voy a
O sea, no
quitar
sé
el
si se
volumen
me
del directo, me
escucha.
estaba
A
escuchando
tale
todo.
about the
No
ocean
sé si mi
god's
micrófono se
treasured
escucha raro o
pearl.
qué,
Our hometown.
porque está pillando sonido,
Yo te estoy escuchando bien.
It was a seaside town which enjoyed the ocean
pero no
breeze
sé de qué está pillando
and
sonido.
glorious, peaceful times, thanks to
No
the
será
wisdom of
ventilador,
its
¿verdad?
ruling queen.
Bueno.
Until one day, an evil dragon descended upon the town. Its wings were large enough to blot out the sun, while its claws were sharp enough to rip the waves apart. It barged into the tall tower and devoured the queen's beloved daughter. It even settled itself in her bedroom, like a tyrant king. The queen assembled 300 warriors who managed to subdue the evil dragon by chaining it up. However, when the queen slit open the dragon's belly, she realized that the princess had long since been digested, and all that was left of her was a pile of bones. Devastated, the queen wept for several days. It was then that a devious, smooth-talking scholar arrived at the palace and suggested that the princess could be revived through the use of dragon bone and dragon blood. That liar called this process the secret art of alchemy. The princess was reborn! The queen was overjoyed, blissfully unaware that the evil dragon's soul still lurked within the princess's body. As revenge, the evil dragon swallowed the poor queen, the glib liar, the courageous warriors, and all of the town's innocent civilians in a single gulp.
Qué divertido todo.
Worse still, the souls of the deceased refused entry to the Netherrealm because they were filled with regret. Forced to roam the mortal realm, these resentful souls ultimately converged into a river of souls that would not retreat for a long time. The terrifying death had consumed all. Thereafter, our hometown fell into ruin as well. Until... Actually, I don't know what happened next either.
Oh, my... It seems that you still like to whet people's appetites even after all this time, Pelixia. So, according to your story, this is how I used to look? It's practically a mirror image. And yet, what exactly is this?
A miracle that I created with alchemy. As for what it is and how I was able to accomplish it, I'll keep the answers to myself for now.
Oh, my goodness, is this cliffhanger really necessary?
Césalo, el suspense me está matando.
Continue to enjoy this splendid play, and the truth will naturally reveal itself.
Dragon, huh? I've heard this legend before.
In that case, what do you think of it?
I think that this so-called alchemy was a tenuous analogy added to the story by future generations. After all, you've never heard of a tradition of alchemy in your hometown before, have you?
Indeed. Before I left home to pursue my education, I never even knew that anybody was looking into this area of study.
Therefore, we can just treat this tale as a fable told to young children.
A fable, you say? If so, what moral is it trying to impart to the kids?
I guess it might be the concept of equivalent exchange?
Oh? I thought the moral might be closer to something like honor the dead. What? At a loss for words?
No, I merely realized that we're both thinking of the same principle. If life is priceless, then there is hardly anything else in this world that is of equal weight to it, right?
Indeed. As expected of the wisest scholar in the land.
You flatter me. Why don't I ask you a question as well, as a form of equivalent exchange?
Of course. What is your question?
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
What? What kind of strange question is this? I got it. You're just trying to get me to tell you whether I like anyone, right?
Let's just leave it at that. That was rude of me.
Yes, I would.
Oh?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I'm certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. After all, you, me, and the rest will all have to face that fateful moment eventually. My time is finally here. However, perhaps because of my firm belief in the immeasurable value of life, I am unable to complete the trial.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. It is a pity that fate is such a cruel mistress.
Is there no other way of interpreting those words?
I'm afraid that the meaning is clear. Between my sister and me, one must pay the price.
Voy a
Our
mensaje
trial
cada 15
can only
segundos.
be
O sea,
completed
tienen
when
que
the one
esperar un rato para
chosen
poder leerlos.
sacrifices her life.
O sea, van lentos.
I'm afraid that the prophecy might even have selected a pair of twins for this exact purpose.
Fortune makes fools of us all.
My sister is prepared to sacrifice herself. And yet, I can't do the same. How absurd. My time is almost up, but I'm still afraid to welcome death. What should we do? If I'm ultimately not able to make up my mind...
Since Chaos is willing to guide all of us and leave this trial to the end, there is still plenty of time for you to ponder.
That's right. Don't allow the fog of an uncertain future to cloud your mind.
Trial, prophecy, the topics that they're discussing seem familiar. But these three people must not have left their names in the epics. Otherwise, I would have some recollection of this.
Amphorius's history before the Titans were born was complete chaos. Is that not strange by itself? I have long held three hypotheses about
Se
this.
escuchan los sonidos en tu casa.
However, let's continue watching for now.
Calypso,
Que escucho los sonidos en tu casa, estaba escuchando las
And
voces.
this warrior,
No se entendía nada, pero wow.
I
Sí, estabas
seem
escuchando
to have
voces porque
met
están
him
gritando en el
somewhere
salón.
before.
Pero
Vale, no las he
tengo...
escuchado, no, o
Regarding
sea, no las
this
escucho
matter.
tan altas, ¿vale?
Sí, tengo el micrófono silenciado por ese motivo en el
Nice.
directo, pero tú lo vas a
Are you
escuchar.
confident
Ah,
that you'll
vale.
complete
Por lo
your
menos he dicho,
trial?
Of course. Though I am worried about what will happen once I've emerged
Venga, mensaje
victorious.
pues. Oh, sí. Vale.
Es que hoy hay fútbol, Cora.
Looks like you have made up your mind.
Creo que eso resuelve muchas de tus dudas.
Yes, this is the safest course of action.
Completely separating courage, honor, tenacity, sacrifice, and reason. You really know how to make things difficult.
Please, young lady, witness my fall and demise. Lady Calypso, you shall host the soul-rending ceremony.
I do not understand. Why would you dare to sacrifice yourself for a future that you won't get to witness?
Because this is our destiny. The power that resides within me is so intense that I will one day be engulfed by it. Furthermore, a valorous death before glorious return has always been the path I chose to walk. A journey I began long ago. If your sister or Chaos were in my position, I believe they would make the same choice as well.
I'm not that brave. I don't know how I'm supposed to face such a serious affair.
Despite being Death's chosen one, it seems you still don't know how to face it. Let's chat, young lady. Perhaps I shouldn't end my journey so hastily. Since there's still time, I'm not worried about letting fate wait a little longer.
Of course. This warrior is Lord Anias. As the embodiment of Nikador's divinity, he entrusted his life to us and allowed humankind to end his madness. That means that what I'm currently seeing before my eyes is, in fact...
Looks like one hypothesis of mine has already been proven true. These heroes are the true forms of the Titans, before they attained their divinity. If so, the chosen one of death that he speaks of is actually...
Polixia? Is the previous form of Thanatos? But her appearance...
If this is true, as long as we can find out where she went, we'll naturally be able to figure out the location of the Death Titan.
But before that, we first need to witness what ultimately happened to Lord Anias.
Bueno, pues nada, vamos a ver qué le pasó a Niles. Investigar.
Honor, courage, tenacity, sacrifice.
And finally, the only thing that remains is reason.
Cheer up, young lady. There is no need to shed tears over a glorious death.
All farewells in this world are sorrowful, Lord Nias.
No, young lady. As a warrior, I have witnessed too many bitter deaths. But now, all I feel is peace. I did not know until this moment that mortals could live their lives in such a way.
Although only a sliver of your soul remains, you remain so optimistic. Or maybe the truth is that you aren't able to feel sorrow anymore.
Sí y no. O sea, son fragmentos del pasado que están reviviendo a través de los recuerdos o las imágenes que ve un medio muerto.
It's not even a feeling of despair. I am just enjoying what remains of my life to the fullest.
Enjoying?
Indeed. Along this journey that we've taken together, not only have I changed the world, I myself have also changed in the process. And now I have reached the journey's end. When I look back and see the grand epic that I've personally written, how could I not revel in that fact?
But when you depart the mortal realm, won't all of your accomplishments be reduced to nothing? Separation and death are two sides of the same coin. Reconciling this doesn't come easily for a mortal.
Efectivamente, son fantasmas del pasado.
Finally, let me
La chica en la
recount to
silla de
you a
ruedas,
story of
estoy
mine,
sintiendo que
young lady.
obviamente tiene relación muy directa con Castorice, que son prácticamente
The
iguales.
first time I
Sí,
returned
¿verdad?
from the
No será
battlefield,
por algún motivo.
I felt extremely hollow.
Ups.
The calamity had devoured everybody on the battlefield but me. When I returned to the city alone, the citizens held a banquet for me that was far from pleasant. I felt as though I was still on the battlefield, and the person who had returned was nothing but an empty shell. It was late into the night by the time the banquet ended. My head still reeling, I returned alone to the barracks. On the way back, I encountered someone. It was a crazed scholar looking at the night sky and muttering to himself by the side of the road. Although I tripped over him and fell, I wasn't angry in the slightest. And maybe because I saw myself in him, I inexplicably asked him a question. Do you think that it'd be better if we just died on the roadside like a couple of stray dogs? To my surprise, he shrugged his shoulders and sighed.
How does someone who is currently experiencing death, dying and living, afford the same amount of bliss? Now please go away and don't block my starlight.
Are you trying to say that there is no difference between living and dying? For they are both journeys that lead toward death?
That's exactly what life is, and death is, but a scale to measure how valuable the journey was. Journeys and epics are only glorious and magnificent because all things eventually fade to dust. Therefore, young lady, don't detest your fate. Instead, willingly and respectfully
Ay,
embrace
está tan
it.
caliente el ordenador que siento las teclas calientes.
Telling me about
Dios.
the majesty of the world.
Sigo diciendo que necesitas pillarte un ventilador de esos para
No,
ponerlo
no,
debajo.
sí, pero a ver, no va a aparecer en 2 días.
Indeed,
Se lo dirá mi padre.
I
luego,
believe
sí,
that when
supongo.
the fated moment eventually arrives, you will be able to understand my
Aunque,
words.
mamá.
It is time for me to knock on death's door. I will set up a long table at the end of the road and humbly await your arrival. When that moment finally comes, let us drink and be merry then.
I knew this day would eventually come.
Are the both of you ready?
Polixia. I'm here.
Ahí tenemos a Castorice.
What? This...
This is quite interesting indeed.
Is this... Polixia's sister? Is it... me? Now...
Lo que implica que la diosa del bueno, el titán de la muerte es Castorice.
Eso parece.
Are you afraid? What are you afraid of?
That I won't be able to do it.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. As foretold in the prophecy, and according to our vows, once it all ends, we must face our fated moment head-on.
Even if it was prophesied, do we have no say in the matter? It's so unfair. Why are we the only ones who are forced into mutual destruction? Let me do it, sister. Let me be death's sacrifice. I was never long for this world anyway. But you're different. I was the one who wasted your life after all.
You're wrong, Polixia. I don't think that my life was wasted. Just the opposite. When I finally arrived at this destination and looked back at the journey I took, I discovered that flowers had long since bloomed along the path I walked. It was you who sowed the seeds for this sea of flowers, one that is more beautiful than the promised land at the end of the world. Besides, I have lived a fulfilling life. Even though I was fated for sacrifice, none of the things that I've experienced will dissipate. Instead, they'll forever live on as memories inside your head. Will they not?
How could my memories of you ever compare to the actual you?
Well then, tell me. What exactly are we?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But regardless of what the answer is, regardless of how we're shaped by others, or even by this world, ever since we were born, the fact that we existed was predestined, and nothing could erase it. This is why I will always, always be by your side. We're twins, after all. All right, my dear Polixia. It's time to extract my heart and light the flame of death. After that, use it to plant the first bud in the prophesied new world.
Pobrecitas, ¿eh?
La verdad es que sí, joder, qué triste.
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I am certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. Even now, my answer remains the same. This is why, sister, I promise you, in the prophesied new world, I shall plant the first bud on your behalf. Go now. Return to the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown. I shall open wide the entrance to the Netherrealm and grant you a second life. The living beings on this earth shall respond to my call and lead you to the sacred daylight. Remember, do not look back on the land of the dead, and do not stop moving. In the new world promised by the prophecy, march toward your new life. As for the price of our equivalent exchange,
Madre mía, qué
let
profundos.
me be the one to pay it.
Everybody, we've come to
Madre
the
mía, lo
end.
que salía en un momento.
Unfortunately, I am not compatible with the Supreme Being, so I was unable to completely fuse their soul into my own body. However, being able to glean all this from them is exciting enough. I'm certain of this now. Before the titans that we are well
Pero me
acquainted with
recuerda
were born,
a Orfeo
a
y
group of
Eurídice.
heroes
Aunque eran
roamed the
pareja, pero me
land.
recuerda a eso.
These
Sí,
heroes
no mires hacia
followed a
atrás.
prophecy
Ujú.
and took possession of
El mito de
divine
Orfeo y
authorities one by one,
Eurídice.
until they eventually became the pantheon of the new world. Just like the flame-chased journey of today, Amphorius's history is cyclical in nature.
What a startling revelation. This means
Y la isla
that
se
the
tenía que llamar
demigods
Esticia.
who bear the
No voy a decir nada.
flames
No voy a decir nada.
will also become the new titans at the world's end, thereby shaping a new world?
I believe that this is the truth behind the Era Nova, as mentioned in the prophecy.
This is
Ha dicho piedra
utterly
filosofal.
unbelievable.
¿En qué momento nos pasa Harry Potter?
Besides, those twins in the past, even if they really are,
No sé por dónde vas tú, es que yo voy muy lenta con los diálogos, ¿eh?
their whereabouts
Que han
are
terminado
still
todos
Vale.
los
unknown,
diálogos de
even
las
today.
fantasmas del pasado.
Are their whereabouts truly
Yo están ahora
unknown?
Naxa y
Didn't Polixia
Castorice
mention that
hablando, pero
seaside town,
Pues eso, vaya
the
término.
birthplace of alchemy
Le
and the
cuesta.
tale of the dragon? In our world, there exists a city which perfectly
Vas
matches
por delante de mí.
Jolín. Pues ahora sigo en un diálogo un rato porque no me
People
carga.
there worship Vagusa and bear no relation to Thanatos. I have also never been to that place, as in the time of Idonia, it had long turned into underwater ruins.
Take this.
This is...
The Nusporist masterpiece, the Philosopher's Stone. It was made by transmuting all of the sages' wisdom into a single entity, with their flesh and blood as its foundation. Remember, I've mentioned before that the art of alchemy is all about conversion, tempering, and ascension. This process also applies to the pursuit of truth. Regardless of how unbelievable this sounds, the truths of the world have been refined from the impurities. Think about the story of the dragon. This stone will lead you to your real hometown, allowing you to reform the door to the nether realm and discover Thanatos' fate.
You still look as confident in your victory as ever. But what if your conjecture is wrong?
Simple. I shall merely admit to the entire world that my experiment was a failure. However, my line of thinking will not fail because I have already planted the seeds of doubt into the hearts of the masses. Actions speak louder than words, Castorice. With the assembly about to begin, don't forget the promise you've made.
I've already searched for so long. I'm willing to try one more time. While we converse, his life is also slowly slipping away. But before I leave, I have another question. What exactly did we witness just now?
That was the world imprinted in Kefali's soul. If we are to prove its existence, you must take the final step. Go. Do not disappoint me.
I understand.
Hey, child of humanity.
Don't get antsy. I still remember the question you posed to me. As a scholar, I do not wish to offer up ambiguous conclusions. Let's discuss this topic again when she manages to find the evidence.
I merely wanted to ask, was that stone transmuted from your heart? If so, rebirth is no longer an option for you.
Why not? When I was a child, I lost someone dear to me. When I was a teenager, I lost my faith. A while back, although you saved my life, I also lost my soul in the process.
Vale, por fin. No termina la
Now
conversación
I'm
de
merely
nada. Es que voy
forsaking
lenta.
my body. What's the big deal?
Me encanta Naxa. Cuando era pequeño perdí un ser querido. Cuando tal perdí otra cosa. Cuando igual perdí otra cosa. ¿Qué más da perder todo?
He perdido ese río.
Tal cual te perdió el río.
This is but a necessary sacrifice on my path to transform into the purest of them all.
Can someone who's dead even claim to be the purest of them all? Furthermore, if your hypothesis is proven correct, does it not just confirm that the myths are true, and thereby invalidate all your theories?
No, it's just the opposite. If my hypothesis is correct, it means that I can actually ascend to godhood and reshape this absurd world that you all have created.
He creído que es Anaxa de verdad.
That's
Muchísimo.
a lot to take in at once.
Lady Aglaia, please, let me explain.
Go on.
You know that the core flame of death has always been the greatest unknown regarding the Era Nova, which is why both you and Kindness desire to gain the power to control that core flame in the approaching Citizens' Assembly. Professor Anaxa has come to a consensus with Kindness. They want to suspend the trial once Thanatos' core flame is reclaimed, hoping thus to eradicate death from this world. If they're successful, then the flame chase journey will cease, and Akama can enjoy everlasting peace. But I know this runs counter to your wishes. So long as we do not usher in Era Nova, the Black Tide will never be eradicated. Even with Lord Mighty on the front line, and the Black Tide not posing an immediate risk, the danger nevertheless remains. Honestly, it's difficult for me to assess the pros and cons in this decision. But someone must bring the core flame before we can begin negotiations over it. The Titan could be very near. I cannot let this chance slip by. Besides, someone has to make this trip to bring back Mr. Soul.
Well said. You already had every reason to seek an audience with Thanatos. It's that great performer who has weaponized your wishes and placed us in this difficult situation. A world without death. Do you desire that too?
If fate dictates that my path must oppose yours, I will do all I can to resist it and protect what I aspire to achieve. Lord Mighty showed me that without taking the first step, all talk of what follows is moot.
No sé qué decir, mejor sonrío a secas. Sonríe y asiente.
I have always hoped to hear you speak your mind, Cass. And I am glad to have heard your true thoughts. Styxia. I visited that place in the past. Though it is now an island surrounded by the river of Soul's torrents, it's not hard to see its former splendor. Go. I will not stand in your way. As for you, you are someone who has cheated death. I believe you have more than enough reason to make the trip with Castorice and meet the god of death himself. Castorice, I too look forward to your journey. I wonder what kinds of new interpretations your completed story will bring to the Flame Chase journey.
Thank you, Lady Aglaia.
I hate to put a damper on this heartwarming moment, but if Styxia is now an island surrounded by the river of Soul's torrents, then how do we find a way in? Lady Treby is probably...
The answer is quite simple. In the myths, Zagreus once made the domain of the dead their treasure vault. That is to say, they could enter and leave the Netherrealm as they pleased. And if they could do that, then it follows that the demigod who inherited their divinity must be capable of the same. I'll see you at Marmorial Palace at Action Hour tomorrow.
Oh, mira.
Cypher shall be your guide.
Vamos a conocer a Cipher.
Ancient city.
Bien.
El caótico día finalmente termina. Todos se dispersan, cada uno perdido en sus propios pensamientos. Bien. Crónicas del Tercao. ¡Hala! A sobar.
Hey, friend! Is
Oh,
the
no.
debate finally over? Did you win?
Cora, creo que nos van a cerrar el servicio.
Ay, madre. Vaya.
Tú
¿Cuánto-
antes diciendo,
cuánto pone?
es que vamos a tener, a las 12, es que vamos a tener ya la nueva actualización y nos hemos quedado muy atrás, no sé qué, no sé cuándo, toma actualización en la cara.
El juego toma.
Por hablar.
Boom. Boom.
Ay.
Claro, porque mañana es miércoles. Ya nosotros las actualizaciones y los banners nos cambian siempre los miércoles.
Claro, logramos una gloriosa derrota.
Bueno, pues nada, estamos viendo que nos van a cerrar el juego dentro de poco. Qué bien.
Media hora, bueno, no pasa nada.
Nada, estamos un ratito que tampoco me puedo ir a las 12:12, o sea que pues, estamos hasta menos cuarto y ya está.
Pero me ha hecho gracia.
I borrowed a mountain of books from Cass to see if I could find a way to solve your problem. Let's see. I still have only 32 books to go.
Joder, 32 libros por leer le quedo. No pasa nada, ya encontramos una solución.
Really? Oh, that's fantastic news. I knew it. Hard work always pays off. Especially if you're as diligent as Mem. I feel like a huge burden has finally been lifted off my shoulders. Why are my eyelids so heavy all of a sudden?
Me pega el bostezo. No hay nada más que hacer por ahora. Vamos a descansar.
You're right. Then I'll go back to...
Como de costumbre y con su increíble destreza, Men se escabulló de vuelta a su pequeño escondite secreto. Buenas noches, Men. Buenas noches, Okeima. Ya es de noche, ¿cierto? Porque como siempre es de día, más tarde en algún lugar de Okeima. No.
Cass? What a surprise.
Lady Treeby.
Is something troubling you?
I just wanted to speak to Lady Trian for a bit before I set off. No matter how breathtakingly beautiful Styxia once was, the place is now the domain of the departed. There is no telling what we'll encounter there. I don't want to have any regrets.
Has anyone told you that your eyes are sparkling today?
Is that a figure of speech?
In the past, when you did smile once in a while, all of us could see that your heart remained troubled even as you smiled.
Lady Treeby, you know perfectly well that see you tomorrow is nothing but a white lie. I hope your toughness is not a mask hiding a lonely heart.
Cass, you hardly ever talked of your past. None of us knows what you went through, apart from Maggie. But we know it must have been filled with pain and hardships, as it is the fate every Chrysosaur is destined to live out. We are just happy for you that the core flame you're meant to inherit has finally surfaced.
Isn't it a little too soon to say that?
But you already know where tomorrow is, don't you? There is no need to rely on anyone else. Just give it your all and leave no regrets. We have always believed that your embrace is just as warm as everyone else's. Because we embrace others to comfort them. And Cass, you're the kindest Chrysosaur we know.
Oh, qué mona que
Thank
has
you,
sido.
Lady Treeby. This feeling... It's hard to put into words. I suddenly found myself with so many wishes. So much I want to accomplish before setting off.
Then go do it, Cass. Trian was actually working on a surprise gift for you. It's a pity she didn't get to finish it. But now Trinan and I are working on it, and we'll make sure to give it to you. So, let's meet back here when you return from Styxia. Safe travels. See you tomorrow.
Al mismo tiempo, no puedo dormir. Alguien llama a la puerta. ¿Quién podrá ser? Veamos quién nos llama a la puerta. Me dos en querer doble. Oh, Castorice.
Yo quiero que sea Dangen.
No, Dangen está en el soto. Dangen no.
Ah, es verdad, ese.
I hope I didn't wake you.
Pero no ha vuelto, ese.
Dormir es un lujo a mi edad. Ni que fuera un viejo. ¿No me siento Glide?
Casi.
No. I'm here because of private matters, actually. If it isn't too much to ask, I'd really like it if you could come along with me to retrieve something.
Claro, vamos.
Aren't you going to ask me what it is? It isn't a long way from here. Shall we?
Ahora, vamos a ayudar a Castorice.
I'd love to go in and take a look. Have you heard? Seems like all the rooms.
Faith can dispel the black tide.
The streets are packed.
I want to vote! Tell me how I can vote!
Take your ceramic shard, engraved with the Kefali rune, select the Council of Elders in your heart, and pray silently until the shard registers your choice. Then toss it into the Dolium.
The Council of Elders? More like the Council of Buffoons! The Black Tide took my hometown long ago! Who are they kidding with bringing back Erechrysia? It's all a sham to create their own Erechrysia in Akama!
Vaya.
The Titans are just. So long as we do not overstep our bounds again, we will not incur divine wrath.
Oh, please. The time when these deranged Titans should have vacated their spot to the demigods is long overdue. You'll see soon enough, you old fogey.
And I pray that Talanton smacks some sense into you with their scales. We shall see how this turns out.
That was quite a spectacle.
Otro día tranquilo, ¿no, Game?
I suppose peaceful is technically correct if no actual violence happened. To this day, I still find it almost unreal that Akama is the only place illuminated by light amidst the crumbling ruins of Amphorius. And its people are even holding votes to reconcile differing opinions. This peaceful sight is making me forget that this is the end times.
Te ves confundido.
Before coming here, I had lived for many years in Idonia, a city of rime and frost. The people there were devotees of Thanatos, and were well known for their unique burial rites and traditions. Traditions that I played a major role in.
¿Por la maldición que pesa sobre ti?
Yes. You now know me as the Mortician of Akama. But back in those days, I was Idonia's Maiden of War. I was trudging across the frosty plains on my own when the Idonians found me. They saw the curse in me as a blessing from Thanatos, and believed that my hands could correct the Erechrysia's mistake and lead them to meet the great god of death. They provided me shelter, but in return, I was expected to grant merciful deaths to war captives, prisoners bound for execution, and heroes alike.
Es un tipo de atención paliativa. Eso no es el trabajo de un verdugo.
Yes. No matter how kind or cruel the means, nothing can change the essence of death. taking away someone's life is never worthy of religious worship. I can't do it. Their voices, they pierce my ears. The pleading, the thanks.
Ah, I know that feeling, child. I was once as lost as you are now. But you must respect those walking towards death. Just like how you should respect yourself as the Holy Maiden granting humans glory and liberation.
What you're asking me to do is no better than the task of an executioner. And yet you want me to respect myself. No matter the titles, I am still taking away human lives.
This won't be the first time that Edonia's fanatical nether warriors have faced death. On the contrary, recruits new to the battlefield often run away from their first fight. Death is the mightiest and gravest power in this world. The fact that you can wield it means you are deserving of respect.
That's such a twisted reason.
Then let me tell you a story. In Idonia, the great swords commonly used by executioners are called Draconian, in memory of Drakon, an elderly executioner. The sword has 3 air holes along its body. If the sword is swung down swiftly and accurately, the holes would make no sound, and the executed would also depart this world quickly and painlessly. But should the executioner have any hesitation, the holes would produce a piercing whistle. On that cue, the screams of the executed are sure to follow. Every executioner after Drakon is to hone their sword skills every day in preparation of future executions. Every swing of their blade must be more resolute than the last, for failing to do so will bring pain. Pain for the dying, as well as pain for themselves.
No. I can never get used to this.
You misunderstand, child. I am not telling you to get used to it. I'm asking you to consider the source of the dead's suffering, and use that knowledge to fortify your future touches with more and more determination. Go, walk with the dead, and love them as you love life. Then you'll no longer hear those noises.
Please, don't kill me. I don't want to die.
Uy, tocarlo suavemente está en rojo. No, no puedo hacerlo.
This is your duty.
Yo le he dado a hacerlo, total.
Total, ¿qué más da?
¿Qué más da? Ella se dedica a matar, pues a matar gente.
Then give them the respect they deserve.
Thank you. I beg you. Don't listen to her.
Tocarlo suavemente.
Sí, o sea, realmente yo también lo he matado, realmente. O sea.
Con un dedo toca suavemente la frente del prisionero. Su rostro está pálido. Sus ojos parpadean de miedo y luego su cuerpo tiembla inconsolablemente. ¿Es por miedo, ira y odio? ¿O acaso tu misericordioso toque de la muerte? Es una mentira. Unas manchas de color púrpura oscuro se extienden como pétalos por el rostro del condenado a muerte. Parece sumergirse en el agua de un manantial que inunda su cuerpo. Sus temblores cesan, y los gritos que antes imploraban clemencia se convierten lentamente en suspiro, mientras murmuran para sí mismo. Rápidamente todo termina en un silencio sepulcral y se convierte en un rocío negro como el carbón que se dispersa en el viento. Oyes los latidos de tu propio corazón ahogar el sonido de tu respiración agitada.
May you gain some insights through his sacrifice.
Is this all?
No. Come with me. This is just the beginning of your life as the Maiden of War.
You executioner!
Y bueno, lo vamos a dejar por ahí.
Yo voy un poco... Pero vale, me parece bien. Vale, ya aquí está. Ok. Me parece Castorice preciosa.
Bueno, pausar y guardar.
O sea, me parece preciosísima. Castorice, o sea... Tú la sacaste, ¿verdad, Siro?
Sí, yo la tengo. Bueno, sí. Eso da un cuento para darme. Decía Jesús. Perfecto. Bueno, pues nada. Lo vamos a dejar por aquí.
Me
¿no?
toca despedir. Sí, lo dejamos por aquí. Porque más vete a saber cuándo... Bueno, a las 12 sí, hacen esto, así que nada. Bueno, pues lo dejamos hasta aquí, así que nada. Gracias por vernos una vez más. Y nos veremos el lunes. A ver si avanzamos con Honkai. Y ya otro día jugamos Fire Emblem, pero es que vamos súper mal con Honkai, la verdad.
Sí, bueno, cosas que pasan.
Es que cosas que pasan de no haber podido hacer directos. Pero bueno. Pues nada, nos vemos la próxima. Chao, chao.
Adiós.